Chase Purdy inside, outside of him, Ty Majeski. We're off and rolling at Kansas Speedway with a Craftsman Truck Series.
Is that Taylor Gray jumping down below the white line?
Once you get past the start-finish line on a start or restart, everything is fair game. No out of bounds at this place.
Look at 3 wide.
Would that take a corner or two to do just that? We talked about it before the race. These guys will not disappoint tonight. Zane Smith diving in low.
Connor Mozak up to second. Yep, 98 out of shape.
How about Daniel Dye? 4 wide now in turn 4.
Is that a scrum, Phil?
I think it is a scrum. Big time scrum.
Wow, that's beautiful though, isn't it? 5 wide? Can I count 5 wide there for a second?
I think so. Corey Heim went through the grass, I think, to try to make some passes.
Oh, and that's Majeski.
That left front's flat.
Yeah, I think he had an issue.
Started on the front row and already a caution.
I think he had an issue in 3 and 4. That's why he was slow in 3 and 4. That tire was probably going down.
But there's no damage. But a slight rub there could cause that.
Or could simply run over something as well.
That's terrible.
What a tough break from Majeski.
I bet you he won't have ice cream with me before a race anymore.
Getting a lot of talk in the garage. We talked about Corey Heim, how strong he was. A lot of people talked about this 98 truck being one of the best in practice.
See, he started fading right here.
You can see the sparks.
Yeah, the left front's going low there. Only problem I'm worried about, Phil, is dragging the sway bar off as he gets his way back to the pits. Didn't look like a great deal of contact or damage, but that could have caused some suspension issues for that truck. There it is, bouncing off the wall. It's a pretty good lick, though.
Yeah, it was.
He's in a bit of a bind. And we talked about the speed of the Fords and how it's been a struggle a bit for that group, and they had the speed, qualified well, and then bam, into that outside wall.
Ford winless this season, and one of their best trucks having problems early tonight. Caution for Ty Majeski. Didn't even make it 2 laps, already under caution here in Kansas. Ty Majeski had a problem. Let's get a report from his pit and go to Jamie.
Well, unfortunately, the crew did rush through the changes to get him back out there, which wasn't quite fast enough, as he did not beat the pace car out. And now they have to come back to pit lane to continue the work that they've been cutting through. So it's gone from bad to worse, and they're just continuing to lose some racetrack time.
I will say, though, you lose a lap. You don't want to do that, certainly. But you got all kinds of time as this race unfolds, especially when we get to the end of the stages. You can find your way back onto the lead lap. The more important thing is making sure this thing is where it needs to be and it can go out. And you don't think it is, Mike?
No, it's not anywhere near. I think you see all the concentration on that left front.
Yeah, they're making repairs is what they're doing.
Yeah,
right
that
now.
could be that sway bar I was speaking of, and it just drug the arm off of that left front.
And remember what happened back at Coda. Connor Zilich was in that 7 truck, had the pole, missed the first corner, slid the front tire, had to drive all the way around 3 miles, wore off that sway bar arm. They actually fixed it, got him back on the racetrack, only losing 1 lap. But again, that's a 3.5 mile road course. The caution flags are not near that long here.
And he didn't have any damage on the right front either. There's our buddy Nick Sanchez. I talked about him charging from the back. He's made up a little bit of ground. Up 7 spots. Hey, we're choosing. I think you see Chase Purdy go low because it worked so well the first time.
And we know these drivers are going to be able to run through that corner wide open, especially they won't be quite up to speed throughout this race. So shorter way around the racetrack.
It doesn't matter where you choose, right? Because in the first corner, you're going to be 4 or 5 wide anyway.
Usually it doesn't take
maybe not that long.
Not all. Yeah, I was going to say the second little dog leg there, they're already spread out.
How about Connor Mozak there, going to restart on the front row?
Well, let's not forget. I know we talked about the fact he won the ARCA race, only his 2nd start of the year, and all those things. The reality is,
pretty good
driving
truck. Pretty good truck
for a team that's won twice this year. The 7. We have to put an asterisk on that because it was Kyle Busch, who's the best ever in the Truck Series with 66 career wins. But we know that group is quite capable, and time again, Carson has shown us what a talent he is.
Really, all of Spire has been really, really strong all year long.
Yeah, and I talked to Connor's crew chief, Brian Patty. He said, I've got a pretty big playbook here tonight. We aren't worried about points, so if there's a chance to use strategy around these stage breaks, we could do just that. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it. Right now, I like that second row. You see Zane Smith right there on the back bumper of Chase Purdy. Daniel Dye with a great start. See who can push the hardest. That's what this is going to be about.
Teammates on the front row, teammates on row 2. We'll get the green flag once again as we complete lap 6.
Pretty clean restart right there.
Great push by Zane. You can see he's right on the bumper of that 77. That's going to work.
3 wide before we get to turn 1, just as you predicted, Michael.
Look at that strong run for Eckes off turn 2.
See, Purdy's going to pull down and kind of block the air on the 19 of Eckes.
And the 91 of Smith says, yeah, do that. I'll join you up there on that front row.
Eckes from 10th to 3rd in 3 green flag laps.
How about Corey Heim right now running 4th right behind that 19 of Eckes.
Heim started 13th. He's rallied up to 4th and looking strong in his Toyota.
Did not come clear out of the throttle. Just pedaled out of it a little bit.
Oh, Christian says, I need that space. Corey says, I'm going to bump you and get around you.
I'm going to let you know I was here.
For the lead, Zane Smith, 91, driving inside of Chase Purdy.
Corey Heim's able to slide in between Chase Purdy and Eckes. Corey in that 11 truck.
Chase thinking about diving on the inside and then switches lanes. Oh, gets him a little bit out of whack there.
It's amazing how important the draft is here. These trucks punch such a big hole in the air. You can see you can miss the corner a little bit and make up for it down the straightaway with a draft.
Look how hard Heim drives into the corner, all the way up beside the 77 of Purdy.
Chase is going to try to side draft a little bit, kind of pull that truck back a little.
See Eckes trying out the middle, seeing what that'd be like, but Heim with a powerful move off turn 2. Look at the ground he made up there, Phil.
How about Purdy, the only driver in the top 5 that started inside the top 9 tonight? That's pretty impressive.
We got a lot of stuff going on. We thought we would, too.
And it just explains how racy this place is, and it'll be that way all night long. Sanchez continues his drive to the front, up to 22nd.
Yeah, got 2 trucks in his sights there to put him in the top 20.
Might get a twofer right here. We've seen that before.
42 is Matt Mills, qualified 15th. 38, the rookie Lane Riggs. No problem for Sanchez.
What about Phil with the call of the twofer? You bring it, buddy.
There's a couple drivers that ran the ARCA Menards race earlier. Dean Thompson, the 5, as well as Tanner Gray in the 15. We talked about Tanner getting that runner-up finish, and Nick said, I'm going to go through the middle maybe.
How about this run?
Sanchez right down the boulevard. If you're keeping track at home, he passed 4 trucks on that lap.
Battle for the lead on the left. Corey Heim, talk of the garage and of the pre-race show and of our opening. We knew how good this 11 truck was going to be. We wanted to make sure everybody at home knew it as well.
And we knew Zane was going to be good too. He's a former winner here. All top 10 finishes in the 3 starts this year in the Truck Series, including 2 top 5s.
Zane Smith won here in 22 en route to his championship, but he's going to fall to 2nd here, I think. Heim looking inside for the top spot in the 11.
I'm telling you, this is impressive, being able to go down. We know the preferred lane is up top, but Corey Heim says, I can do it on the bottom. That is a power move.
Zane uses that momentum from the high side to pull back even with Corey.
You can see those seams there in the corner, the darker asphalt. That's seams that these drivers have to use and try to split, if you will, because it can make your truck not handle properly if you hit it at the wrong time. So they'll be looking at that as they race along. But wow, this is it. To the front, that 11.
High level of concentration. We've had 3 different leaders tonight. Purdy started on the pole, led 7 laps. Zane Smith led 4. And now it's Corey Heim on point.
Corey Heim takes the lead.
About a truck a lap. Started 13th.
Stuart Friesen on pit road for an unscheduled stop. What happened to him, Jamie?
I believe he hit the wall. They came in and just took the right side and took a good look at it before they sent him back out, Adam.
Was running in the 13th position here.
Ooh, scrubbed it. You saw him get a little bit loose, and wow, is he going to almost lost that truck.
Talked about Majeski, where he would fit into the equation. If you watch on our pylon, he's back on pit road again. 4 laps down is driver 98. Leading this race is Corey Heim. Zane Smith right behind him. Purdy is 3rd. Eckes and Rhodes complete the top 5. We're halfway home, stage 1. Just shy of 20 laps in here at Kansas City, Kansas. Craftsman Truck Series racing on a Saturday night. Corey Heim is the race leader. Took over a handful of laps ago, and he's led 8 circuits so far this evening. Josh?
Yeah, for Corey Heim, despite qualifying 13th, so outside the top 10, he knew he had a good long-run truck, and as you see, made his way through the field to the front of the pack. His only complaint right now, the truck is just a bit free, but for Corey Heim, he talked about the word redemption, which we've heard a lot from him in the past, but he told me last year at the 2 races at Kansas, those were some of the best trucks he had. Said, I had this thing just about wrapped up in the fall and wasn't able to close it out. This track owes me one, and I want to get that out here tonight.
He's sending a message to the competition early. Heim leading, and Zane Smith in second. He's led 5 laps tonight. And a good start to the race for our pole sitter, and that would be Chase Purdy. He's back there in the 3rd spot and led 7 laps this evening.
Right behind him is Christian Eckes, and Eckes is challenging for that 3rd spot. We talked earlier in practice, he was not happy at all, but it looks like he's got some good speed in that Napa truck.
Yeah, our reigning champion Ben Rhodes, the 99, right now riding in the 5th spot.
How bad does he need a great run? It's been a struggle this year for Ben.
1 top 10 finish so far. There you see Ben Rhodes, and I'm really keeping my eye on the guy that's behind Ben Rhodes, and that's the 45 of Caden Honeycutt. Nice as a whole only has 3 top 10 finishes all year long. One of those was by Ross Chastain, and Caden Honeycutt in a limited schedule has 2 of them up to the 6th spot.
This is only his 24th career start. He got that solid finish at Atlanta earlier this season. Does a great job. Shows a lot of speed every time he gets behind the wheel.
Behind him in the 25, another driver that needs a good run. That would be Ty Dillon. Hasn't been in the top 10 so far this year. I would say, though, his 3 career wins came at 1.5-mile tracks. And while they struggled in practice earlier today, they did impress in qualifying. They've got speed early in the race.
There's Daniel Dye right behind him in that 43 truck. There's Connor. Good shot of him. There's Dye's race to stop suicide on board. And he's had a nice start to this race. Got up to 4th, falling back a couple of spots, but solidly inside the top 10.
Yeah, only 6 laps to go to the end of stage 1. The 18 truck of Tyler Ankrum right there rounds out the top 10, trying to grab that 9th spot from Daniel Dye. Great start of the season for Tyler Ankrum. A little bit of trouble here lately, a little bad luck, but he's had a fast truck all year long.
He's been really quiet today, both in practice and qualifying, but serving notice early. He's got something for him in the 18.
Stage points on the line as well.
No question. You said it, 5 to go in the stage, and he needs all he can get. 3 top 5s this year for the driver out of California.
And probably milked more cows than anybody else in the whole field. He's a farmer up in Statesville, North Carolina. The 71 truck of Rocha has been falling back. He's outside the top 10. There's Taylor Gray taking away a spot. And there's our buddy Brett Moffitt, former truck champion. He's back with us, Jamie, and that's so good to say.
Yes, it is. His first race back in any of the NASCAR ranks in the 2024 season. He's been at home being a full-time dad, he said, and with that, he's certainly more reflective. He appreciates these opportunities more than he did in the past, but for him, it's not about learning this truck or learning the track or any of that. It's all about learning the new crop of drivers. He said this first stage, probably half of the second stage, was just going to be seeing who he can race clean with and who's going to take just a little more effort at the end.
I'm excited. He's racing tonight. We'll see him again at the end of the month at Charlotte Motor Speedway, driving that 1 truck for Tricon Garage.
Nice pass that right then to grab a spot.
He says he hopes to add more races as well, but for now it's here in Charlotte, and he's doing a nice job as we expected.
3 to go, stage 1. Heim has an advantage of 0.6 of a second over second place Zane Smith. Eckes, Purdy, Honeycutt, the top 5.
All stage points at stake right here. Connor Mosak trying to grab that 7th spot, has it from Ty Dillon.
Started in the top 5, drifted back to 7th, 8th, 9th, and now Mosak with a nice rally late in stage 1 with 2 to go.
And you said it, Phil, that 18's got some strength too. Ankrum really powering up there. There's a battle for 5th. Honeycutt gets it away from Rhodes and is just going to drive away off turn 2.
Honeycutt, 4th start of the year, going toe-to-toe with the best. And this is a significant track for that team. Nice Motorsports winning for the first time in organization history right here at Kansas. 2019 45 truck courtesy of Ross Chastain.
And who was the crew chief on that truck for Ross Chastain?
Phil Gould.
Phil Gould. And who was the crew chief?
Phil Gould.
Phil Gould. Common denominator.
Let me give you another little tidbit about that truck. Carson Hocevar drove it here last year. How'd he do?
He did pretty well, and he's lurking in the booth. He will join us stage 2 tonight.
You know what I love about that? He's got his notebook out. He's just watching, talking, figuring all this out. It's been good to have him up here.
Corey Heim takes over middle of the stage, and he's going to win the first stint of the race. It's his second stage win of the year. He's led 18 laps so far tonight. Second place, Zane Smith. Eckes is third. Purdy and Honeycutt complete the top 5. Rhodes, Mozak, Ankrum, Dillon, and Dye collecting stage points as well. We're off and rolling at Kansas Speedway. So far, it's all about Heim. Stage 1 complete for the Craftsman Truck Series at Kansas. That'd be a great way to consume from the infield, right? A little fire, watching the TV. I like it.
Maybe a little barbecue, some
Why
ribs.
not?
How about a cold beer, too, while you're at it?
Okay. I know where you're going with that.
No, I'm not.
Stage 1 points. Good night for Corey Heim. Second stage win of the year. Eckes was solid. Purdy, after starting on the pole, finished 4th. Honeycutt impressive. So was Ben Rhodes, our reigning champ. Tyler Ankrum with 3 stage points there.
Would you believe that's the lowest a stage 1 winner has started in the last 3 years here in the Truck Series?
How about it?
How about that?
Charging, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You're full of good information. Ty Majeski had the early problem. He's taken his truck to the garage. First truck 1 lap down, Mason Maggio. He gets the free pass. Everybody on pit road. Jamie Howe.
For Caden Honeycutt, we saw him able to move up those 16 positions, but he told Phil Gould that the last 5 or 6 laps he was getting pulled up towards the wall. Felt like he was wearing that right rear just a little bit more than anywhere else. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, give him a clean windshield. Josh?
For the 91 of Zane Smith, he said he started to get free towards the end of that run, especially in the nose. They're going to tighten him up, moving on to the 19 of Christian Eckes. He said that truck, who had brought a different setup this time around, trending a little too tight, making an air pressure adjustment for the 19. And the 11 of Corey Heim, your stage 1 winner, said this is the freest I've ever been on a mile and a half. I'm going to need you guys to tighten me up as well.
Bit of a delay on the 11. Opens the door for Christian Eckes to win the race off of pit road. +2 for him, +3 for Honeycutt, who comes off second. Zane lost a spot, -3 for Heim. Sanchez +8 was 5th off of pit road. What a start to this race for him, and someone going to get a penalty. A tire escaped. About halfway down pit road.
See if we can identify which truck it comes off of.
Is it Matt Crafton?
Or is it 66?
Maybe the 25, which was 66, was right in that area as well.
Cam Waters lost a tire. And then Lawless Allen has some issues. He can't get his truck rolling on pit road now. Teams running, chasing him. A lot going on in that stop.
When we come back, stage 2, and a special guest in the booth. Carson Hocevar is here. Stay with us. It's the trucks in Kansas.
Joe Graff, we're live on FS1. How you doing? How's the car?
I'm doing all right. We're a little bit tight. It's a little bit wet out there, but we're having some fun.
How's the hot rod? It's raining right now, but what are we going to do when it's dry?
How on earth did you get a mic?
The fact I haven't got this microphone pulled from me is a shocking deal. How early do you have to wake up in the morning to do the mustache? How long does it take? What's the average? All right, Justin Oligar, you're finally on the steps, so you can see eye to eye almost. How's your race car today?
In show business, it's called Apple Box, so that you can stand on top of it. Makes
It's a stair, though.
Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Glad we're on the same plan. See, we too like racing, and they don't. They ain't stopping for you. See ya. Bye. Thank you.
You know, Phil and I needed the Apple Box up here tonight. We didn't have two, so we just decided to lean against the desk. Carson Hocevar joining us here in the booth. You know, the last couple of years, we're doing trucks and we're talking all about you, but now you're a big Cup superstar. What do you think about being up here for a truck race in the booth?
Oh, it's making me jealous that I'm not racing, to be honest. I'm getting a lot of familiarity, especially seeing how good the 45 is with Caden Honeycutt. It's been super cool to see Phil and them, but a lot of moving around. Guys, just moving from the back to the front and front to the back. A lot of adjustments probably get done, but a lot of fun. This place is always really fun as a driver, so I'm excited to call it here up with you guys.
You said fun a couple of times. I saw your campaign to get into the All-Star race. That's fun as well. I love your spirit, your character. Being able to drive a race car is a privilege, and I know you really appreciate that.
I do. I'm so thankful that I get to do what I love, but also, too, you know, I would do this. I'm who I am, and I'm going to have fun as much as I can. I'm just thankful that I get to show that and be able to be an opportunity that, you know, they don't try and silence me at all, and I could just be myself. And luckily that that brings smiles to everybody else around me, hopefully.
You know, Adam mentioned that you ran all 3 series last year. How do these trucks compare to that Cup car that you're running full time now?
A lot similar than you'd expect. You know, they have the big, and the trucks, they have the big right rear quarter panel. Well, we have a big underwing. So as long as you take a little bit of grain of salt, the power ratio to downforce and drag and everything, it's really not that far. So it's been an easy transition, or easier transition. But yeah, a lot of fun.
Ty Majeski did go to the infield care center, has been released. We're ready to get the restart here to begin stage 2. Eckes inside of Caden Honeycutt. We're racing to the green and white checker at lap 60, and they are getting antsy right before we go green.
Off the racetrack onto the apron, 3 wide, just like we expected. Great jump there by Eckes in that 19.
Guys, I think we saw something that I think we're going to see all night. The top really didn't fire off through the restart. I've never seemed to figure it out, and that's going to be a battle what we deal with all day.
Look at Sanchez going right up the middle, outside of Mozak.
That takes a little bit of nerve, doesn't it, Carson, to thread the middle like that?
It does, but if you've gone for the back like him, you just pass so many cars. You have a little bit more confidence than you do, and you just overshadows your thought here. As he's still here middle 3, but I know he's going to stay at the throttle. That gets your attention, though.
Yeah, loose in the middle of 3. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, running virtually wide open and then get loose down there.
Yeah, right here, he's going to get in the sucker hole. That's as worst spot as you had. You had all this forward progression. You've had all this speed, and it's just really a confidence gut punch to just get a reality check here that you're not Superman like you thought you were yet, and you know, he's going to be able to rebound here, I'm sure.
Carson, we talked early on about how the draft is so critical with these trucks here at this racetrack.
Yeah, it's huge. You can get past it. It's one thing to pass, it's another thing, or it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. But here, you could get such a big run. You know, a guy goes down to the bottom, you get a little bit of clean air on the top. You get built such a run that the draft is just double, and you could just get a huge run down into 1, and especially 2. That's really where you're going to see a lot of passes.
Teammates trading blows at the front. It was Christian Eckes, now Zane Smith back out front in the 91.
And with them trading blows, Adam, as you said, here comes Corey Heim. That draft that we just talked about, it allows those other trucks to close in quickly. And Eckes says, you might have grabbed the lead from me, but I'm not giving up yet.
He's going to duck back in behind the 91 to catch that little bit of draft. Follow him down in the corner on the bottom of the racetrack, while Corey Heim, that 11, stays on the outside.
It really starts to become a game of chess here as they start to spread out. You just start to the guy behind is really driving the car out in front. You know, with all that draft, it's really keeping them in tow. That it's just a game of trying to not ever get caught out and behind somebody. You just want as much clean air, because if you just lose so much momentum, you have 2 or 3 guys drafting on you, and you really just get yourself in a spot you don't want to be.
How would you like to be our cameraman, Adam? They're going to get dizzy looking around this racetrack and seeing all these battles that are going on all over the racetrack. It's so fun to see.
I would say there's a lot of give and take, but it's mostly take, especially really throughout the run. You know, so many times we talk about it right after a restart, but throughout the runs we have seen various drivers making moves and creating opportunities. Here's Brett Moffitt in the 1. Back in the trucks, 2018 champion, won here a few years ago, and he's worked his way up to 7th, diving inside of Ty Dillon.
Started all the way back in the 19th position, so obviously Moffitt has a good truck.
You know, we talked about Carson's smile and getting to drive, talking about a guy that's happy to be back in the trucks. That's Brett Moffitt. We talked to him in the garage and just really appreciative of this opportunity with Tricon and getting to race. It's just so cool to see the champ back.
Big week for Brett Moffitt, too. Baby number 2.
Moffitt party of 4, he put.
That's right.
On the internet.
Brett and his wife Stephanie welcomed baby number 2.
Great battle for the lead, as you see. Off the racetrack goes Zane Smith, trying to break that draft we talked about. Corey Heim right there in this battle. Caden Honeycutt is 4th, but he can't quite get there.
You see, Michael, I mean, you just saw 3 cars go through, and all of them had clean air, or cleaner-ish air. With it being so wide, there's so many options. The most frustrating part is when you're the guy in 4th and they take all 3 lanes. So that part is the battle, but there's just so many options here that you could just get clean air and you can get around.
Did you see that? Moffitt inside, just about got away from him, racing Sanchez for position.
Yeah, I think Nick Sanchez helped that situation, helped him get loose down there.
Connor Mozak, I'm impressed with this kid. You mentioned it, Phil, got that big ARCA race win earlier, but this is speed. This is a good run for him. Ty Dillon probably come up to the bumper and give him a shove, help them both out.
These are somewhat teammates to yours, Carson, the Spire Motorsports group.
Yeah, you know, obviously
out of the same shop,
they
right?
work really hard on their truck program. Obviously, they've done very well this year, but that's almost sometimes more difficult because now you just set the expectations for the rest of the year, right? So I know they're working really hard to just keep the speed they had. You know, they're going to probably need to work on them just to hear a little bit, but still 2 inside the top 10 and the 3rd one just right behind.
Hard to believe. We're already past halfway in stage 2. It happens fast in the Truck Series, in case you had forgotten, Carson. And this can happen as well. Moffitt hanging on to it. Inside of 10 laps to go, stage 2 for the Craftsman Truck Series here at Kansas. 8th race, 2024. And good to be back after a couple of weeks away. Zane Smith, a series champion, coming back to where it all began, and he's out front.
He said it's good to be back.
Yeah,
here
he's
in the
led
Truck
18
Series.
laps tonight.
Yeah, and he also said he had a really good truck after practice, was confident in what his number 91 could do here tonight. He's got a nice lead here over Corey Heim.
Heim up to 2nd after winning stage 1. Lost a few spots on the pit lane, but he's coming back. Eck is 3rd, Honeycutt 4th. Chase Purdy hanging in the top 5. Moffitt did get by Sanchez.
There he is, trying to chase down the 77 of Chase Purdy. Chase has done a nice job here from the pole, staying up here in contention.
Moffitt was about a 1/10.5 second better last time around, so Moffitt's on the charge.
The back end of that one just likes to dance a little bit. Do you get uncomfortable watching that up here? I get nervous at times in the booth watching Carson.
No, I don't, honestly. I don't know if that's good or bad. Those Tricon trucks always seem to have a lot of speed, so maybe that was something they figured out, and I hadn't 100% caught on to that. But, you know, for him, it's got to be like riding a bike here, Adam, right? You know, he's got to be smiling ear to ear more than anybody in this field right now.
What about it, Jamie?
We were talking about Brett Moffitt. The team just said, when you have a chance, give us just a little bit of a balance update. He very quickly responded. He said, we fired off just a little bit free, but overall, this truck is pretty darn good. He said, it's starting to get a little bit neutral, but I'm pretty happy.
Brett Moffitt is one of those drivers that's not afraid to run right up that last foot next to the outside wall. Always been comfortable doing that.
I'm laughing up here because he hasn't had to experience this in a few weeks, right? Anything that he's out there, he's going to say is probably pretty good, right? He's just thankful to be out here, but obviously he's had a lot of speed, passed a lot of cars. The driver in me just knows I'm not going to be picky now of these trucks, and just excited to see what he can do when he gets an adjustment here and could get to stage 3.
A little bit worried about Raja early, but he seems to be rebounding here. He's making his way back inside the top 10. And we're getting ready to have a battle for the lead. I think you'll see as he works that wheel off turn 4. I love that. You'll see Corey Heim close in here. Last couple of times by, he's been about a 10th better than the leader, Zane Smith. And now, Phil, he's getting there in that draft zone, starting to pull up.
I was going to say, does he have time? Going to be 3 to go when we hit the start-finish line this time around.
One thing I'm noticing, guys, a lot of guys getting off the wall a little bit as this place rubbers up. They're trying to run the seams a little bit more. There's a lot of grip that starts to build on that rubber, and that just really can just be an adjustment for a driver. It really, you know, if you're free, you're going to put the left sides on the seam, and if you're tight, or if you're free, you're going to put it on the right side. If you're tight, you're going to just, you know, just put it on the left side and just try and de-wedge that truck a little bit.
Lap truck slides in between the top 2. Allows Zane to put a little gap between himself and second place, Corey Heim. 2 to go, second stage. The advantage 1 second for the 91.
You know, for the folks watching home, Carson, those seams look pretty innocent, but they can really move the truck around, huh?
They can. That's why it could be such a tool for you. I mean, it's an exaggerated thing compared to what you should see, right? You wouldn't expect it, right? But in the truck, it could just be a world of difference. It could be the make or break if your car just finds all that speed. You know, you see guys all of a sudden get a lot of speed later half of the run. It's probably because they find something, and especially too that when you have seams like that, they find something on that seam.
It looks like Zane is trying to straddle that seam, trying not to get his left sides or his right sides on the seam.
I think Zane heard what I said about Heim, that he was coming, and he took off. Now he's lit it up now, and he changed that line a little bit, maybe running in 1 and 2 on that seam.
You know, 4 times this year, a driver has swept stage 1 and stage 2. It's not going to happen tonight. Stage 1 goes to Corey Heim. He's going to be second in this second stage of the race. Give the win to Zane Smith. It's his 4th stage win here at Kansas Speedway. Heim in front of Eckes, Honeycutt, and Purdy complete the top 5. Moffitt, Sanchez, Carruth, Mozak, and Rhodes scoring points. What a great night it is for the Craftsman Truck Series here at Kansas Speedway. Tomorrow on FS1, the NASCAR Cup Series gets ready for 400 miles of full throttle action here in Kansas. The pre-race kicks things off 2 Eastern time. Green flag flies at 3. It's tomorrow on FS1. Earlier today, Christopher Bell won the pole. Carson Hocevar qualified 22nd. We look forward to watching him race tomorrow. He's with us in the booth tonight. 2 stages down for the trucks. There's that beautiful sunset. Zane Smith on point as we anticipate pit stops.
Pit road is going to be open this time by. See what kind of action we get on pit road.
Pit work was enormous at the end of stage 1. There's the point breakdown tonight. Good evening for Corey Heim. Won stage 1, second in stage 2. Eckes impressive as well. Here they are, Jamie.
And first that you're going to see come to the box on the screen is going to be Brett Moffitt in that number 1 truck. You see him right there on the left-hand side of your screen. And he said that the last 5 laps of that, he really started just to get a little bit free. But before that, the truck was pretty good. So they're going to just go down on the air pressure. In front of him on pit lane is that number 45 of Caden Honeycutt. We've talked about how impressive he's been all night. He said that second stage, it was the complete opposite of the first stage. He said he fired off tight, but the longer it went, the truck really came to him. Josh.
Well, for the 91 of Zane Smith, your stage 2 winner, said the truck was just a little bit numb. He said the adjustments after stage 1 were in the right direction. They're going to have more of that on this next adjustment. And for the 11 of Corey Heim, that last run said just too free. It needs to be tightened up more than he was.
19 crew getting it done. +2. He wins the race. Off pit road does Christian Eckes. Heim comes out second, holding serve there. Honeycutt +1. And then look down there in 8th. Zane Smith came in with the race lead. Leaves pit road 8th, -7 for the man that won here in 2022. Final stage coming your way next on FS1. It's a busy time on the schedule for the Craftsman Truck Series, racing for the first of 5 consecutive weeks at Kansas Speedway. 2 stages in the books, and we are ready to make it happen in the final stage. Before we move forward, let's go back to the end of stage 1. Scary moment on pit road. Lawless Allen making a pit stop and collided with one of his crew members. Let's get an update there with Jamie Howe.
That crew member was the front tire changer. His name was Brandon Henry, and he was sent over into the infield care center, where he was been evaluated. He has been released, and he is now back on pit lane with the team just to watch the final stages of this race. But certainly a scary moment down here, Adam.
Yeah, you could see Lawless just got in his box too hot and slid those tires, and unfortunately made contact with one of his team members. Those pit crew members, Carson, you can attest to this. These guys are tough. Let's listen in and see what the 33 radio said.
Got confused on I thought the 38 and the 33 on my thing were switched, so I was going in front of them. That's completely my fault.
Well, fortunately, checked and released from the infield care center and ready to do battle again.
Yeah, I mean, that's a driver's nightmare, right? You go to battle with these guys week in and week out. You don't want to, you don't even want to make the mistake of missing your box or anything, but especially, put your guys at risk there. So good thing that, obviously he's checked and released and could go back to work here.
Zane Smith won stage 2, but lost 7 positions on pit road. Let's hear their radio.
We'll get that one out of the way, and the next one will be money. Sorry about that. We went from here to first once. We'll do it again. With us getting in at an angle like that, I'll just remind you to get your wheel back straight. It was still doable, but that's all. It just kind of drug on the door and didn't quite get all the way up on the hub. It was just a hang exchange. Was the biggest.
Yeah, they were talking about him actually driving in the pits. Watch how he's going to actually turn the truck back out to try to get pointed back out, and it really didn't straighten the wheel back out. Typically, you have a piece of tape on the steering wheel where the pit crew wants you to have that wheel for a pit stop.
Yeah, that's obviously a killer, right? But they're still in it, right? They're still 7th, not the end of the world, but obviously, you were up there leading. You had all that clean air, feeling really good. Just a little bit of, just going to be a little bit of a gut punch that you're going to have to get back up and get back going here in this stage.
Sun's going down, Adam. It's going to get right.
And the track could go through a bit of a transformation here. Front row for the restart final stage. Christian Eckes, Corey Heim. We're green again at Kansas.
Nice push by Sanchez in that 2 truck.
Look at him off the racetrack, 4 wide. Craziness.
Orange and black truck, 17, Taylor Gray. 43s, Daniel Dye. As Eckes jumps out front.
Eckes, a lot of options here.
Oh,
not sure where to drop.
What a mess that was. Looked like Brett Moffitt went up the hill a little bit. Wasn't clear. Made some contact, but everybody shuffled through it.
I think that 7 truck in the middle right there was completely sideways. Connor Mozak off of turn 2.
Hey, Phil, you remember where the 2 of Sanchez started?
Yeah, about last.
Look where he's going. You talked about how racy this place is. There's a great example of it. From last to first goes the 2 truck of Sanchez.
You just saw the draft we were talking about, Michael. We almost just saw 2 trucks pass the 19. He got off the corner pretty well, but with the new tires, they kind of were able to just hold a lot of throttle here and just drag back and, sideways.
That'll get your attention. And watch Caden Honeycutt, a big run in that 45 truck, and here comes Zane Smith in the 91.
What a great battle up here. Ooh, you saw Zane, you saw the fire come out of the exhaust pipes, had to back off. Eckes was going to squeeze him into the outside wall.
A little crossover there, start finish line. Corey Heim goes back to the front.
How about Caden Honeycutt? The 45 truck drives to 2nd.
I told y'all that's a fast truck, isn't it, Carson?
Yeah, it's obviously real quick. A lot of memories that I got in that thing, but a lot of options opening up even more so. Obviously the track temp starting to cool down. New tires here.
See that?
Eckes completely sideways. Sorry.
Absolutely. There's a lot going on here, guys. Side by side, Zane and Nick here. Zane's going to try and slide up and get Nick in as much dirty air as physically possible here.
Let's see this slide. Whoa. And Nick, you see on the upper left end of the screen, Nick's got to be saying, what happened? I drove up and got the lead. Now I'm 5th.
It's just the nature of this beast. It's just so tough. If you lose momentum, especially on these restarts, Michael, they could just swallow you up, especially right here late in the stage 3. Everybody's adjusted on their car. Track's temp starting to get a little cooler, so everybody's starting to, the ceiling is starting to become a little bit lower to the floor, and everybody's starting to get a little closer here.
Well, a nice advantage right now for Corey Heim, but Zane Smith in that 91, after those pit road problems and getting squeezed up high, he's on a mission.
He's got about be the hungriest driver right now, right?
+6 since the restart for Zane Smith.
Was able to make that pass on the 19 of Eckes and hold that line. Now he's going after that 45 of Honeycutt.
You know, when you go cup racing, Adam, it's a different animal. And when you're able to come back and run a Truck Series race and show everybody, yeah, I haven't forgotten how to drive. I'm going to win in cup one day. We've thought that about Zane Smith since he showed up. And we're seeing that talent right here, being able to drive to the front.
Well, he only gets a few more shots in this. I'm not sure how many more he's got left, but you know, when you get this opportunity, you definitely want to come out and win. And he knows he has a limited start, so he's going to do everything he can, especially here, place he's won before. I know he's hungry, and I talked to him before, and he was really excited about his truck at the start of the day.
Guys, we talked early in the show. Remember last year, both races we had green flag pit stops. We're a long way from that right now, but remember, we will have pit stops in this final stage.
Let's celebrate the success of Tanner Gray. Spent a lot of time outside the top 10, top 15 in those first 2 stages, but here he is, 6th in the running order as we hit the halfway point.
There goes Eckes. Here comes Zane. What a battle.
This is the toughest spot, right? Because you're not sure if you're 100% supposed to let your teammate go. You don't know which one of you is faster, as Zane's going to cross him back over and try to get back another spot.
I think that was a byproduct of the draft for Christian Eckes. Being able to use that draft to get by Zane. Now Christian got a little loose off the corner as well. I thought he might make a little bit of a run back at Zane, but had to pedal a little bit.
Good night for Tricon Garage. 4 trucks inside the top 10, including the race leader Corey Heim. He's led 27 laps tonight. Just over 50 laps remaining for the Craftsman Truck Series at Kansas with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, Carson Hocevar. I'm Adam Alexander, and we have a battle for the lead. Corey Heim out front, but Caden Honeycutt not going away, knocking on the door.
He's really making it happen. Had his truck all the way up beside Corey Heim as Corey goes by Jennifer Jo Cobb in the lap truck there. We could be saying a name here tonight we're going to hear a lot from in the Truck Series. When you make a statement like Caden Honeycutt has done tonight, go up there and battle with Corey Heim for the lead in that 45 truck. This is a huge night for that kid.
I think what we've seen so far is a career-defining moment for Caden Honeycutt. Hopefully he can finish it off as we continue to watch this battle for third between the 91 of Zane Smith and the 19 of Christian Eckes.
These two need to make up their mind. One of them needs to take over that position, Carson.
I tell you what they're doing. They're letting the top two get away here, though. You know, Honeycutt, he's done such a great job. We obviously know how fast and how good Heim has been everywhere he goes, right? But Caden to be able to do this on a part-time schedule, you know, still learning this Nice organization and learning Phil Gould, to be able to do this just in a few starts he has, this is really impressive.
You know Phil Gould really well, and I know he's got a smile on his face watching his young racer get it done here in Kansas.
Yeah, you know, obviously they ran really well with myself last year. They were really excited, but you know, this year, you know, they haven't 100% got off to the start they really wanted to as an organization. But you know, Kansas for me last year was always just the defining moment of what really could set myself up and really reset our season. And I think Nice as an organization is doing that with Caden running second, but also Bailey Curry running seventh here.
Last Saturday, Honeycutt made his second start in an Xfinity car, driving for Mario Goslin, and spent a lot of time in the top 20. So as we've said, the talent is there, and right of your screen, the man calling the shots. We've talked about him so much this evening, Phil Gould.
Caden Honeycutt, 20 years old, out of Willow Park, Texas, and he's thinking, I'm going to win here in Kansas. He's faster than Heim right now. You can see him make those moves. And, you know, learning right now, Carson, that's really difficult. It's one thing to be able to catch the guy, but then what do you do to get around him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's in a big hurry, right? I think as long as he keeps in touch with Corey, that's the win right now. You know you have pit stops coming up. At least as you keep in tow, you could keep the race afloat for you and not let him get away and keep in that draft and you know, give yourself a real good shot here later in the race.
Bailey Curry doing an awesome job tonight in the 41, although he lost a spot to Taylor Gray. 17's been top 10 every week since they crashed out on that final lap at Daytona.
Now Taylor's going after his brother Tanner in that 15 truck, trying to grab another spot.
What's it with Al Nice? Bailey Curry's from Texas too. He likes those Texas kids, doesn't he?
He does.
How do you end up with a Michigan driver?
I was going to say, it doesn't really. I don't fall under that category, Michael, but I'm definitely glad he. You know, obviously Al's done a lot for me and a lot for my career, but definitely willing to do a lot for other race car drivers' careers. And I think he's doing just that with Caden. I know he's going to have a bright future here.
What about the Gray brothers? That's cool. I think they were 8th and 9th at Texas, or right together in the top 10.
Yeah, 7th and 8th, I think, maybe. Yeah.
And here they are again. I guarantee you one thing, Caden Honeycutt's got Corey Heim's attention. He sees that number 45 white Chevy in his mirror, and those moves he's able to make from time to time. He's going to have a big draft here.
And I love the fact that he's not pushing the issue. As Carson was talking about, he's just comfortable riding back there within right now 0.3 of a second of Corey Heim, knowing we have another pit stop and a lot of things can change.
We're going to see you again in the booth at Charlotte, Carson. Watching tonight, does it motivate you to go back and run some truck races?
It does. I'm obviously happy where I'm at doing the cup level right now and focusing on that. But I definitely would love to get back here. But in the meantime, I'm loving it, enjoying this. You know, I'm thankful you guys get to bring me in the booth and get to see a different perspective. But I've had a lot of fun up here tonight.
Real quick. When you come to pit road here under green flag, how challenging is that entry, getting down to pit road speed, and make sure you maximize? And how will that affect Caden Honeycutt with the lack of experience that he has?
There's so many different factors, Michael. The biggest thing is that splitter. There's very much. It's way around the corner, so your splitter's on the ground, and when you try to make that transition, it's super sharp onto pit road. It's not it's not easy transition. So it's super easy to almost lock the left front on entry, but more so when you pit the truck, sometimes the nose doesn't set back down, so the exit is so far around. If you don't get your nose in the air or nose on the ground, there's a lot of lift that really could cost you on exit. That's a lot of time where you make your money or lose your money is on exit of pit road.
We're talking about these green flag pit stops. They'll be happening soon. As we anticipate that, we say thank you to Carson for coming by. We'll see you in Charlotte, and good luck in the Cup car tomorrow, okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys.
Right.
I had a blast.
Carson Hocevar joining us in the booth tonight. We've got more from Kansas after you watch this on FS1. .40 laps to go at Kansas for the Craftsman Truck Series. Won't be long before we get green flag pit stops, and right on cue, here's the leader, Corey Heim.
Corey Heim had a second lead over Caden Honeycutt. I'm going to be really interested, Josh, to see how these pit stops play out for the finish of this race.
Zane Smith in as well. Let's go to Josh.
For the 91 of Zane Smith, he's been complaining about being too loose in that truck, says it's just too much on top of the track right now. As far as the 11 of Corey Heim, it's been a free truck all night long. They've continued to work at it to get him what he needs, but he's been dominating this race so far. Jamie?
And coming into the stop now is Caden Honeycutt, and he said to Phil, he said, tell me where my marks are. Phil Gold very calmly said, I will count you to the box. He hit the marks perfect. It's going to be 4 tires. Getting in the tear off right behind him, Brett Moffitt in that #1 truck also coming into pit lane. Green flag pit stop, first time of the year for him, Josh.
Well, for the 19 of Christian Eckes, he said that truck has just been building too tight. That's been an issue for him all night long. He said he worked those fronts too hard, trying to stay up with Zane, so they're going to try and help him out for this final run.
Looked like a bit of a hiccup for the 45 of Caden Honeycutt. We'll see how it all settles out as everything cycles through scheduled green flag pit stops at Kansas.
And just remember, this is the money stop. You can't have a penalty here. You can't speed as a driver. You've got to make sure you do your job in and out of pit road. Caden looked like he did a nice job onto pit road, but the team had an issue changing the tires.
But look at top left of your screen. That's the 11 of Corey Heim after his pit stop. And there's a 45 coming off of pit road on the inside of that 4-wide situation there.
Daniel Dye has not made a pit stop. He has taken over the race lead. Tyler Ankrum, Connor Mozak, Mason Massey, all still must pit. Same for Timmy Hill.
Oh, Caden Honeycutt throwing the block on Christian Eckes, and Eckes said, I'm not having any of that.
See, Zane Smith is right in front of this duo to grab that spot. A couple spots lost for Caden Honeycutt on the pit stop exchange.
Wow. I think he said, lay off me, brother. With his steering wheel, he said that. That was crazy.
And remember, Caden Honeycutt has a fast truck, too, so I'm sure he's not going to take kindly to that.
And look at Eckes. He's going to chase him down there. Caden's got to be really careful here down on the bottom. That truck will get loose in a hurry.
Yeah, I think Christian's saying, I'm the road boss.
Yeah, but I don't think Caden took to that too well, because he's fast tonight and he didn't do anything wrong. That's just tight racing. When you're on these 1.5 miles and side drafting so important, you just get a little frustrated at times. But Eckes did a nice job of controlling that situation and getting his truck out in front of Honeycutt.
There were 25 trucks or so on the lead lap when this cycle of green flag pit stops began. Daniel Dye had taken over the race lead. He now has pitted. Massey and Hill still out there running. They will have to make a pit stop, and then it will cycle back to Corey Heim, who would be the race leader with Zane Smith behind him. Eckes and Honeycutt would be 3rd and 4th in the running order after everything cycles through.
Michael, you wanted to know the difference after they came back on the racetrack after their pit stops. Corey Heim right now is 7 seconds ahead of Caden Honeycutt, and he was 1 second ahead when they started the pit stops.
Yeah, we have to watch that closely, and that's how it played out.
We're going side by side. 34 laps to go. Right now, it's the Corey Heim show at Kansas. .29 laps to go. It's the Craftsman Truck Series, Kansas Speedway. Corey Heim has looked good. Won the opening stage, second in stage 2, and has been really good in this final stage, flexing his muscles through a cycle of green flag pit stops. He's led 50 laps, and his advantage now over second place Zane Smith, 2.6 seconds.
You know, Adam, we talked about the importance of the green flag pit stop for the rookie Caden Honeycutt. Could he match what Corey Heim did? He went to pit road 1 second behind Heim, came off 7 seconds. We just looked at the pit comparison. It is about 3 seconds difference by the pit crew itself. So that means Corey Heim beat Caden Honeycutt by 3 seconds on and off pit road.
And that's experience, Michael.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
no
totally.
knock against Caden Honeycutt.
Just hasn't done it very much.
Hasn't done it. And Carson talked about all the intricacies of coming to pit road, getting your nose down, hitting that transition. Those are all things he learned during that process. But what he needs right now is a caution, because looking at the lap times, he's made his way up to 4th. He's faster right now than our leader, Corey Heim, but he can't make up that 5 seconds that he's down in the amount of time that's left. A caution, he could be the man.
When you look at the top 10, the only driver yet to make a pit stop is Timmy Hill. He's back to 6th. Heim out front with 26 remaining. Here's the radio.
I'm so freaking free, guys. 10-4, do the best you can. I can't fix the aero problem here, but we'll do the best we can here.
Wow, how about that? So free.
But you know what? He's working through a lot of lap traffic here, and he's starting to pull away a bit from Zane Smith. The advantage was 2.5, and just a second ago, he was back at 3 seconds. So he's feeling pretty good about his advantage, I got to believe.
Remember, only about 13, 14 laps on those tires, so the tires should be in pretty good shape.
And now Zane's got to make his way through all that traffic. There you see Connor Mozak. Lane Riggs down on the bottom. Mozak's a fast truck. Unfortunately, he too, probably some inexperience on his part, didn't have a great on and off pit road.
Yeah, Nick Sanchez was the fastest truck that last lap. He was a couple tenths faster than Corey Heim, but he's 13.5 seconds behind.
It's crazy, isn't it? When we started this stage, Sanchez, who had come from the back, was up there racing for the lead, actually put it out front for a lap or so, and then drifted, went back to 9th or 10th through the cycle of stops, and now finds himself 7th, as Phil said, 13 seconds behind the race leader.
There's that 2 truck as he races along behind Tanner Gray in the 15.
Nice day for Tanner Gray. I know he was disappointed to not get that ARCA Menards win after dominating that race, but still got the runner-up finish. Oh, smoke. That's his brother Taylor. A lot of smoke. As you mentioned, no.
Oh, right front tire flat.
I think that could be the caution.
If that rubber comes off that tire, it'll definitely be the caution. He was running in the 9th position, and now you see issues as he comes to pit road.
Hasn't finished out of the top 10 since Daytona, Adam, as you mentioned earlier. But this one's going to hurt right here.
You know, this is tough because all 5 of the Tricon Toyotas were running inside the top 12 before the right front issue for Taylor Gray.
Make sure we're clear on both right sides, guys.
Must have scraped that wall a little bit. You heard the team telling, the crew chief telling the team to make sure they check those fenders as he stops on pit road.
Remember, unlike the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, these trucks' bodies are made of steel.
There it is, scraping the wall. Man, just slight contact, Phil, and that's going to take that top 10 streak you spoke of and throw it out the window.
Yeah, the guys having to take their time to make sure they get clearance. They don't want to cause another flat tire.
Battle for the 10th position. Dean Thompson around.
Yeah, he's making it happen.
Daniel Dye. Great pictures from Daniel's truck. You see Dean down off the racetrack, trying to break away from Daniel. But look at that draft, Phil. You've talked a lot about it. You can really make up some ground.
Dean finished 3rd in ARCA Menards race, and the reason he ran that race was just extra track time to help him tonight, and he's made his way up into the top 10.
Corey Heim in charge of the field. We have reached our Craftsman 20 to go at Kansas. How about this stat? 26 different drivers have spent time inside the top 10 tonight.
Well, we talk about it all the time. It's hard to tell you out of our top 25 trucks which one of them will win. I mean, there's guys on a given night all the way through the top 20 that can do just that. So much fun to cover this.
The record for drivers in the top 10 came here in the fall, and that was 28. Thompson continues the climb. He's up to 9th. His teammate Heim is leading. 14 laps remaining for the trucks here at Kansas. Corey Heim is saying, just don't show me a yellow flag. I want to stay green and continue my run at the front. Zane Smith is second. Christian Eckes in third has been impressive tonight. Let's get a report there. Go to Josh.
Yeah, and for the 19 team, this was called a trial run for them. They were looking ahead to the playoffs, so they brought a different setup for here. Even though they've won here in the past, Christian told me when they won, they weren't necessarily the best truck, and mile and a half has been their biggest weakness, so it's something they want to make sure they are better at come playoff time. Well, that different setup has been pretty good for them, but they're not looking for pretty good. They're looking for lights out, and they just haven't been lights out tonight as they've constantly been battling a tight truck. So a good top 5 truck, but not the winning truck they've been looking for.
I would say threes are wild tonight for Christian Eckes. Third in stage 1, third in stage 2, and third here with 13 laps to go in the race.
He's got a comfortable couple seconds over Honeycutt right now, who's running in the 4th spot. But you see left side of your screen, Brett Moffitt. What a nice run for Brett Moffitt. First time in a race vehicle this year. Last time he was in a truck, Adam, what happened?
He won Talladega.
He won.
Hey, by the way, Eckes tonight leading, paying off. He's led, let's see here, 11 laps. He's led laps in every race this season. That's impressive.
All 8 of them. What a year.
There's that beautiful #1 truck for Brett Moffitt you talked about. Top 5. Great run for the champ. Pushing his way toward the checker flag.
I just sit here looking at, the Corey Heim with about a 2-second advantage over Zane Smith. Another 2 seconds back to Eckes. We've got 11 laps to go. And you know what could happen if something happens. I don't even want to say it. I don't want to jinx it for Corey Heim.
Are you speaking of the caution flag, Phil?
Well, you said it. You said I didn't say it.
You're going to bunch them up and ask them to be nice to each other? I don't know if that'll happen.
How about these restarts?
Oh,
that's that famous Phil Parsons line. You know what can happen if something happens.
How about Zane Smith now? He's making up some ground on Corey Heim.
Got it down under 2 seconds. Last time by, a couple of tenths better than the 11 truck.
Felt like it was pretty consistent there, right around 3 seconds, but here we are. 1.8 with 10 to go.
Truck's pretty well scattered out. That's good news for that 11 truck. Nobody pressuring each other too hard here late in the going. There you see Chase Purdy.
Yeah, he's had some issues. He's being shown now 3 laps down. This will probably put him 4 laps down, but another good run for this guy right here, Daniel Dye, coming off his best finish of the year at Texas 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago with a 6th. Another top 10 going here.
You see that yellow truck behind him there. That's Matt Crafton. He spent the majority of this race inside the top 10, but just got passed by Daniel, and so he's 11th right now. But you just see Matt steady as she goes. What happens here though? Steady, steady, steady. Oh no. Ooh. I think we know why Matt's falling back a little bit. That truck looks like it's pretty loose on Crafton.
From one veteran to another, right behind Crafton, Grant Enfinger is 12th. Won here last spring, made the championship 4 a season ago.
That's probably about his highest running position of this race. We saw Grant early in the race outside the top 20. But Jeff Stankiewicz, the crew chief, and the team has worked on that truck, made it better. Right now, we only have 14 trucks on the lead lap, and certainly Grant Enfinger, one of those here, running 12th.
Look at that progress, though. This is the best position they've been in, like you said, Phil. But this is the kind of thing you can build on. This is a new team, as we mentioned earlier. He needs a good, steady run as we start this 5-race stretch here, week after week, going to battle. You perform like this and you're like, we're just a notch away from knocking on the door of a top 10, top 5.
Raja Karuth behind him in 13th. Quiet early, made that run into the top 10. Something went wrong with the 71, and they were outside the top 20 when we made those green flag pit stops, but they've come to life once again, 13th. And you mentioned 14 trucks on the lead lap. Let's celebrate the success of Brett Holmes, who's in the top 15 right now, running 14th.
Last truck on the lead lap. Brett's doing a nice job. There's that beautiful 32 truck.
He's a former winner here in the ARCA Menard Series, a former champion as well.
Just steady progression. Started 24th, stayed there at the end of stage 1, but it's been moving forward since then. That's nice progress.
Yeah, Mike Shiplett coming on board this year to call the shots and certainly paying dividends.
We've told you about all the trucks on the lead lap. 5 laps remaining for the man on point, Corey Heim.
Looking for win number 2 of the season in that Tricon Toyota.
Not finished outside the top 10 all year. Hasn't hardly ever finished out of the top 10 in his career, truthfully.
Tonight would be his 23rd top 10 in the last 24 races.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
There's Dean Thompson battling with Bailey Curry. Daniel Dye looking on. This is all inside the top 10. Daniel's liking them battling. He can charge up there and try to grab 9th away from Curry.
He's got Dean Thompson to draft off of on the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite able to clear Curry.
Oh, Curry's pushing though.
Oh, he got him now.
He had to lift out of the gas. That tells you why that 41 truck is fading. Really tight. Couldn't keep that truck down as he exited turn 4.
Good night for Tricon. Good night for Nice. A couple of trucks inside the top 10.
Those are startling, staggering,
all
impressive.
Those things.
All that.
Yeah.
All that.
Mind-boggling.
You just wonder what happened at Martinsville. Goodness gracious. He finished 10th.
Throw out the setup.
Remember last year, he dominated Martinsville.
Impressive this kid is. We talked about when he made his Cup debut and checking all the boxes in that race. He just continues to impress.
I tell you, Zane is coming now. He was 2 seconds behind, just a couple laps to go. He's gained about 7/10 of a second. There he is right there, the next truck behind Corey Heim.
3.5 tenths that lap. If you do the math, he almost gets there.
And there's some lap traffic there. Inside of 2 to go. Number 1, Heim wants to see the white flag. Make sure we don't have to have any restarts here late in the race for him. Go to overtime. And then he wants to handle this lap traffic.
He wants to see the white flag and not see that white truck get too big in his mirror.
It's getting bigger in his mirror. Here comes Smith.
There's part 1 of the equation. White flag is out. 1 lap to go for Corey Heim.
Another 3.5 tenths.
A 1 second advantage as he hits the back straightaway.
Oh, man, that's so frustrating for Zane Smith. He's like, oh, he's right there, but I just don't have enough time.
Boy, about 1 more lap. Look at all this lap traffic right in front of Corey Heim.
11 truck strong tonight. Corey Heim hits him right between the eyes, leads 79 laps, and gets his 2nd win of the year.
It's a battle for the 10th spot with Matt Crafton.
This Corey Heim kid is special. What a great, great race tonight. Unbelievable statistics around his whole career. Another victory here in Kansas.
Thank you, guys. Man, that thing was free, but I hung on to it. We're working on it, get a little bit better, man. This thing has a lot of potential.
I'd say it's got a lot of potential.
Did he just say potential?
Yes, he did.
Didn't he just win?
Thought so.
Career win number 7 for Corey Heim. Last time he delivered, it's Circuit of the Americas in the month of March.
Yeah, he can win on the road course. He can win on the short tracks, the 1.5 miles. He has no weaknesses, Adam.
You know, Phil, after qualifying, maybe just a little bit concerned about the Toyotas. And you said, no, Mike, they're set up to race. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. Really, really good handling in the traffic. And he had a loose truck at the end, but he held on to it to get another victory.
Heim's got both the wins this season for Tricon Garage.
Tricon with 4 Toyotas in the top 10, actually in the top 8.
And if Taylor Gray didn't have his problems late, they probably would have put all 5 in the top 10 for a 2nd time this season. 2nd goes to Zane Smith. Eckes was 3rd. Great night for Caden Honeycutt. Comes home in a 4th position. And Brett Moffitt making his return to the Truck Series, finished 5th.
Are we? What time is it, Adam?
You know what time it is. Check your watch. It's Heim time in Kansas.
We'll see if Corey gets out and checks his watch.
I bet he does.
200 miles tonight, 400 miles tomorrow.
Uh-oh. disagreement between Cam Waters, it looks like.
Lane Riggs.
Lane Riggs is trying to explain his position.
They were battling for the 18th position. Riggs got it, and Waters was 19th.
That's cool when your team comes out. You get to celebrate with the guys that work so hard to put that truck where you can drive to victory lane.
Corey's going to get to celebrate this win, have a nice night, and then race 400 miles tomorrow.
And I guarantee you he wouldn't want it any other way. He's going to give the flag to a fan. There it is.
Let's hear from the winner. Down to Jamie.
We heard him say over the radio right after taking the checkered flag, this thing has a lot of potential. Talking about the fact that it's a brand new truck coming out of the Tricon garage built just for these mile and a half. The last time you won, Corey, was also in a brand new truck. When your team is able to give you the equipment that you need to perform, what do you do when you get back to the shop to continue building?
It's just, can't say enough about these guys at Tricon Garage, man. I mean, just top to bottom, we executed so well today. The pit crew, everyone back at the shop at Tricon Garage, just what a truck. I mean, definitely struggled with being free for most of the race, so I can't say it was easy, but I mean, even with the balance I had, this truck has so much more potential to get better. So I'm kind of out of breath right now. That was the handful of the last 30 laps, but huge thank you to Tricon Garage, Toyota Racing, Safe Flight, everyone back at TRD, just really wanted this one today and drove my butt off for it.
The numbers that you've been able to put up this season are just nothing short of impressive. Everyone in the field, you have the target on your back. Week after week, what do you do personally to make sure that you're ready for the challenge?
Just keep getting better, keeping that gap ahead of the second place guy is the main thing. I feel like we were so due on this place, and I really wanted this win today, so I knew we were going to be capable of winning today. It's about putting some more consistency together for the rest of the year and going after that championship.
Congratulations on the win. That's Corey Heim. It's time, Adam.
Well, Zane Smith comes home second here tonight, led 29 laps, and it felt like if that race went a little bit longer, you might have been able to catch the 11.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised with how much we caught him there at the very end. Just can't lose 8 spots on pit road is a good start, but appreciate everyone at MHR, Instacoat, Team Chevy, just everyone. Just felt like that one kind of got away there.
Thanks, Zane. Adam?
3 trucks from McAnally Hilgeman Racing finish inside the top 10, led by Zane Smith, who was second. And he was the runner-up to this guy, Corey Heim. He gets his first Kansas win, his second of the year. No doubt his star is rising.